Show us some of the other sides of yourself so we don't think this about you. As a listener, we go by what we hear you say, and that is what we get to know on the show. And would you show us a happier, fun, loving side of Lauren? I'd like to see that. Show a joyful side of Lauren instead of a tired, weary, exhausted, need a break Lauren. I would love to see it. Can you believe a human wrote this who professes Christ? A grandmother wrote this. Well, you do not need me to defend you.
Yeah, I'll do
I
it.
I could go, but I wanna honor you as my friend. Do you want to say anything, or do you want your friends to just start going here?
I think I said what I had to say back. Yeah, I initially replied and was like, thanks, whatever. I'm not gonna like engage with you. But when it doubled down and like really actually got into praying for my family and praying for my husband and my mother-in-law and my mom. Sorry, that's silliness. You don't know them. You don't know my relationship with them. And so I replied back, and I think I said everything I needed to say. Yeah, so you guys can go ahead.
Lauren is a very kind and sweet person, very caring. Full transparency, I'm going through something right now. Lauren brought me flowers, and I appreciate that.
And every day I'm getting videos and audio things. We play Trey as part of our show because he's so cute, and Lauren thinks he's so cute. I got a cute picture of their family the other day from her. That's Trey. That does that. And the only reason she ever shares struggle is because I push her to do it. I do. Get mad at me. I don't want moms who are struggling to feel alone. And so I push a loving, happy mother who loves her husband and her children so dearly. I push her to talk about the challenges so people don't feel alone. So you yell at me, Julie, not my friend Lauren. Because, I mean, if you listen to the show, it's just an outrageous thing to say.
And also, you can't listen to 3 hours of a show 5 days a week and think that you have caught everything I've ever said. I could list all of the wonderful, kind things I've said about my kids, but I don't think I need to do that.
You don't need to defend yourself.
Yeah. So,
and for the record too, we're not just bringing this up because Lauren needs us to come to her defense, which she doesn't because
I already did it myself.
She's a tough girl. Yes, exactly. But I think our heart for bringing this up was there's a lot of people that think like this, and so we kind of wanted to shed a light on that.
Yeah, I've been one to say this. I mean, on a lot of radio stations, you wouldn't hear these kind of things talked about, especially Christian ones. But sometimes you have to let wickedness be exposed so people can see what it looks like and hear what it sounds like. And Julia, if you're listening, you repent. Like, you need to repent and apologize because what you did is wicked and unbecoming of someone who loves Jesus. I believe you love Jesus, but you sure didn't act like it. Goodness sakes.
Yeah, and I think it also highlights why a lot of young women feel the way that they do about Mother's Day.
Yeah.
We're getting called selfish, and we're getting called saying that we hate being with our families and we hate being with our kids because we're asking for a break. I think a lot of moms in the past suffered in silence. And we have learned from them, and we're saying, I'm not going to do that. I'm going to ask for a break when I need it so that I don't suffer, so that I don't break, so that I don't become an angry mom, so that I don't sit alone in the dark at night and cry because I feel alone. So I'm going to ask for that break so that I don't have to do what moms before us have done. And then we get called selfish and say that we hate our kids.
Yeah.
And I think that's a shame. And I think that is kind of at the bottom of this debate online is because young moms are feeling like, I'm just asking for a break for 2 hours on Mother's Day, or even more, maybe 4 hours. But that's selfish because we're saying what our emotional and mental needs are.
It's not selfish.
No, it's not.
And I'm anxious to talk to the grandmas later today about this debate about who's in the trench and who's not.
There was a video of a grandmother saying she's gives her daughter Starbucks gift cards, or if she's at Costco and sees something that her daughter needs, she'll drop it off. She sends texts and asks, how's it going at home?
It's so nice.
She will take care of of her grandkids every once in a while.
Very
and
sweet.
Then she said, and that's in the trenches. And I would have to say, no, it's not.
I have noticed, as someone who doesn't have children, that there seems to kind of be an amnesia that older women get when it comes to how hard it is for young moms with young kids. Lauren, you were talking about how you have a child that hates his car seat and will scream for extended periods of time. Yep. And I don't imagine that's just very, very sweet, very loving and generous if you're going to buy your daughter Starbucks. It's not the same.
Yeah. I mean, I have to take Trey to and from school every day. And because my husband's working, I have to take my 7-month-old with us. And he just screams the entire ride, every single day. And then usually picking up Trey from school, he's tired from school, he's overstimulated, he's just been like, whatever, it's the end of the day. Mm-hmm. And he gets in the car and his brother's screaming. And so he starts screaming because he's overstimulated and overwhelmed. And I have to safely get us home and comfort both at the same time. And sending a text, unfortunately, just is not the same. It's very kind, but it's not the same.
Well, I am so sorry you had to have someone speak to you like this who professes Christ. You're an awesome mommy.
Thank you.
You're a really, really good mom. You love your babies. I've seen you interact with your kids in person. You and I are good friends, have been for years. You are an award-winning mom. This person has no idea what she's talking about.
No, she doesn't.
And you don't deserve to be treated like that.
Thank you.
You know what you deserve? A break. WCRF, Mornings with Brian. Thanks to all the nice notes coming in. We're getting lots of text messages, 440-546-2255. We spent a few minutes talking about, earlier this week, about the great Mother's Day debate happening this year. Kind of came out of nowhere. Never heard of this kind of thing before.
Right.
Grandmas, essentially, and moms, active duty moms, I don't know how to even put this, are arguing over who should be paid attention to at Mother's Day and who, if it's selfish to get a break, who's got it worse. I mean, it's really kind of a disgusting debate, to be honest with you.
Horrible premise.
And we had somebody be so mean to Lauren. I wanted to expose the wickedness of it because, honestly, if that kind of wickedness just pours out of someone's fingers, it's probably not that uncommon in family relationships. But our friend Jamie was here. I know you were feeling very, very overwhelmed by that, and I want to give you a chance to say a few things if you'd like to.
Yeah. And forgive me because I am a little choked up still. I think, the things that Julie said are unfortunately thoughts of a lot of people in the church. Unfortunately, I think I'm not sure why women were so competitive and judge each other against one another. And yeah, I'm having a hard time focusing. I apologize, Brian, but it just really is. This is something I have heard, maybe not in those blatant of words to myself, but just, and I want to be very clear. I have not heard these words from my mom or my mother-in-law. I want to be very clear that they let me very early on take a stand that I wanted to be mom on Mother's Day, but we get our pedicures the day before or the week after, and we do our things together, grateful for them. But I think, something, my son got a license this week, and I watched my mom and mother-in-law grieve an evening where they saw him, and they said, oh, it's the end of an era. And I think that really spoke to me, and it speaks into this. You're right. It's an end of an era. He doesn't need us to pick him up from everything anymore. And I'll miss some of those drive homes and talks and the way he leans on me for, getting him to the places he needs to go. But that's what grandmotherhood is. It's the end of the hands-on, you're the child raising person to now you're the grandma. And you walk alongside your son and daughter in a different way, or in-laws.
It's an important job. It's
still
job that's
very
full
important.
of honor. And
yes, and I lean on Mimi and Grammy big time. But to say they're in the trenches, they're in the trenches of grandmotherhood, which is different than motherhood. But unfortunately, going back to what Julie said, I think, being a mom is hard, and we all do different things to become healthy again. Asking for a break is one of them. For me, it's a snuggle on the couch with all of my kids on top of me. That doesn't make me holier than someone who wants a break and to walk away for the weekend. My best friend for her birthday every year, one of my best friends, asks for 2 nights in a hotel by herself. This last year, she sent her family to the hotel and she stayed home. She was like, because I think that made her, maybe in this kind of context, made her feel better, because people say, what's wrong with you that you want a break? You know, I think at the end of the day, we're all different. We all, you know, introverts, extroverts, how we're wired. Saying we need a break is good.
It's healthy.
But what is a break for Lauren is different than what's a break for me. What's different from a break for you, Brian? Like, I'm an extrovert.
Mm-hmm.
And so, you know, how I get and feel loved and honored is different. And why can't we just be okay with that and just trust that? I mean, I also have seen Lauren with her family and she loves them. And I don't feel like I need to defend that. But like, if this were me, this is soul crushing kind of stuff. People saying something like that about why do we say things like this? Yeah.
It is. It's soul crushing.
And I think I've said my capacity for caring for children is very small. Like, compared to you two, my 2 is like really enough. I could never do 4 or 5. And so it's
I'm
okay.
having trouble doing 5.
But like, it's
I have low
okay
capacity.
if my capacity is smaller and it looks different than yours.
And that doesn't make you a bad mom. It
No.
just makes you a different person.
Yes. Yeah. And also, like, and I said this to her in the messages, I've just moved away from all of my support systems. Both of my extended families, we moved away from them.
Mm-hmm.
During the wintertime, so you're not going outside doing anything. You're just stuck inside with your kids. We've had extreme, and I've shared this too, extremely hard time finding care here for our kids.
Mm-hmm.
So I have to leave work early and I go straight into being a mom. And then I feel overwhelmed because I can't get my work done in the time that I'd like to. And it's just like, you don't know what's going on in someone else's life. Why would you think it's okay to just talk to someone this way when you don't know?
But yeah, the sad part too is, again, it's not just, I think Lauren was a target of what may be much more common than we realize. And
I think so.
And you were saying it doesn't always seem so direct necessarily, but it's insinuated. It's like, oh, you need time alone, huh?
Yeah. I mean,
Selfish?
I, for years, have said, especially in the church, that I feel as though I'm judged because I really like my job. And I find a lot of self-worth in what I get to do in my, quote, 9 to 5, right? I love what I get to do at the city mission, but that does not take away from what I love about being a mom. In fact, I am honored that I get to do both those things. And I think some of what these comments are about also is that, you know, maybe generations earlier than ours is, you know, worth was found in only being a mom in the home. And I love those things. Don't get me wrong. I love a clean house and I love when I have the opportunity to cook and love my family well. But I also really love what I get to do outside of the home. And it's okay to balance those things too. And it doesn't make me any less of a coworker when I love my family, and it doesn't make me any less of a mom when I love what I get the opportunity to do in my job.
Yeah, it makes me sad how mean women are to each other. It's like it was that way in middle school. I guess it just never ends.
We just never ends.
We don't grow up in that aspect.
Wow. It's 7:02. We got to take a quick break for the news, but there's certainly more time to discuss these things with you. 440-546-2255. Again, the huge internet debate between moms and grandmas and who's in the trench, who's not, who deserves the attention on Mother's Day, whether breaks are okay. It's this whole thing happened this week on the internet. We talked about it. If you missed it, somebody took out their rage at Lauren in a very unbiblical way. 440-546-2255. 710 WCRF Mornings with Brian. It's going to turn into the Mother's Day whole morning show. We got an hour away from the Mother's Day panel showing up. We got Crystal Kershaw, Dana Eastwood. Mm-hmm. We've got, who are you? Jamie Buxton.
I was like, me right here.
Lauren Cuevas. And we've got Linda Uvegas as well is going to join us. But for now, if you're just tuning in, you missed a lot. This is why you need to listen to the whole show. Maybe you go back and listen later is how you could do it.
Sure.
But nonetheless, we're talking about this year's Mother's Day debate. where mothers, specifically on TikTok, and grandmas were arguing with each other about what is Mother's Day about, who gets to do what they want to do, and whether or not it's selfish to do that, and who's in the trench, like who's got the harder job, the mom or the grandma. And there were grandmas throwing it down, going, oh, no, it's the same. And I feel like most grandmas, level-headed grandmas, would go, no, not the same. But that's just me, some random middle-aged dad, okay? We've got Bren in North Canton. Love you, Bren. Welcome back to the show, sister.
Morning, morning. First thing I want to say is I applaud you for bringing it into the light.
Well, thank you. Good.
It would have been a lot easier for you to handle it as a business family, a work family, and not say anything online. But we know when we bring it into the light that God can do something with that.
That's right, sister. Exactly. That's my goal with these things. Some people don't understand why I would share that, but sometimes we need to bring wickedness into the light because it's either going to convict somebody about their own sin or it's going to call someone to repentance, whatever it might be.
Yeah, I think it opens our perspectives too. So I'm a grandma. I go to a church with older people and only a couple younger people. So I see a lot of that older opinions of how things should be done. Lots of knowledge. But a couple points. People often criticize what they personally struggle with or what they feel uncomfortable with. And so we did suffer, and it was harder. But like my mom, especially her generation, which is probably some of Julie's side of things, age-wise. But I learned that she didn't get a break, and I needed to take a break. And I was better when I came back from a break because I had a strong-willed daughter that would not stay in her car seat and kept unbuckling herself when we were going 65.
Oh, no.
And she would hold her breath, turn blue, and pass out and hit her head on cement if I didn't get a candy bar for her. So
that's a tough kid.
Yeah. I mean, I had to seek counseling because she was a very big challenge. And, we worked on molding versus breaking, But she got a scholarship, full ride to Bowling Green for leadership and volunteerism because that's how God made her. It was not easy for me as a mom, but we got there and God blessed it. So people don't understand when they have more compliant children, the drain that is. And unless you've lived it, you don't know that.
Yeah, no, I actually had somebody come in the studio once with their kids years ago, and it was a couple of little boys.
I'm like, are you outing me right now?
No.
Just kidding.
You're going to connect to this. And they were probably, I don't know, like early and mid elementary school age. And the mom was like, all right, boys, sit here and just be quiet. And they did.
Oh, well, then it definitely wasn't me.
I was just like, I went home feeling like the worst parent ever. It was great kid, but they were compliant kids is the thing.
Yeah.
Right. Some kids are just wired that way. Others will hold their breath till they're blue because you won't give them the candy bar.
Right. But God places those children with the parents he places them with for a reason.
Yes. He is sovereign.
And
yes.
I am not a stay-at-home mom. I tried it for a year. I was not happy. So then I wasn't a happy parent, and my kids weren't happy. So I have to be how God made me, except how God made my kids. But I think there's a lot of people that forget what it was like. And so when my daughter comes over, I am definitely not in the trenches as a grandmother because my daughter's in it every day. But I remember what it was like. And if you don't remember what it's like, it's easier to judge and to say how things should be.
Yeah, and this is why I want to make sure we emphasize, and I haven't done it yet, but we need to make sure that all of us listening are praying for Julie because she's likely lashing out in pain from her own life and some broken relationships or struggle, and she needs our prayer. We're supposed to pray for those who persecute us.
Exactly. Exactly. That's what I was going to end with. Brian, you stole my thunder. that some Christians are still baby Christians. that are displayed by their actions.
That's right.
And we want to encourage, which is hard.
It is hard.
But that's what makes us more mature, no matter our age.
and you know, Bren, I want to be sure to emphasize too, like, just because there are moms in the trenches who are really struggling and need a break, and they're arguing with other grandmas, it doesn't mean that grandmas don't have value and don't deserve
for sure.
honor. Like, you're a grandma, and your role in your grandkids' lives, I mean, indescribably valuable. Grandmas can bring in so many incredible things in their kids' lives. I only have one grandma. I didn't even know my paternal grandmother, and it's a heartbreaker for me. So I'm just telling you, I think this is where part of the debate was lost, is that when moms in the trenches were saying, I need a break, da-da-da-da, they're not saying grandmas don't count.
Right. Right.
No one's devaluing grandma. You can have both things exist at once. Both have value. But right now, the mom in the trench just needs a minute.
Right. I saw one of the texts.
Stand in the gap.
Right.
Not make a bridge, not blow it up.
Right. Yeah, well, I was just going to say, I saw one of the texts come through that said, well, on Veterans Day, we do active duty and men who have served previously, or men or women, and we give them all, we give them that day. Yeah, but it's a little different how we honor them. An active duty person, we might do something for them personally and for their family. But yeah, we give a flag and we applaud and thank, a past duty person. And nobody's saying that grandmas don't deserve love near or around or on Mother's Day. I'm not saying that at all. In my family, we've chosen to do something close to that day, but then the actual day gets to be about me with my kids. But that's just what we've chosen. Lots of people do it other ways. But my present better be bigger. I'm just kidding.
Bren, thank you so much for the call. We always love hearing from you, sister.
All right. Love you guys.
You too. It's 7:18. Again, the number is 440-546-2255. 440-546-2255. When we come back from the break, there's a little bit of a turn we need to make in this discussion, because I think some of this debate is symptomatic of, how do I want to put this, of people not applying the scriptures effectively in their lives and their relationships. And I can get to more on that here, and we'll see what the team thinks of it in just a minute.
The unreached. Where are they? Why haven't they heard the good news of Jesus Christ? How can I make a difference? Can I reach them? These are questions many Christians have about those who are cut off from the gospel. Join us for an eye-opening Moody Radio special, Until All Hear. Learn how we can finish the task Jesus gave us 2,000 years ago to take the gospel to every man, woman, and child on planet Earth. Until All Hear, a dynamic broadcast featuring stories, interviews, and guests from around the world, and music that will center you on the Great Commission. A third of humanity has no access to the gospel, but we can change that in this generation. Be informed, be intrigued, be inspired. Until All Hear, presented in partnership with the Alliance for the Unreached in preparation for the International Day for the Unreached.
Listen with us here on Moody Radio Cleveland, Saturday, May 11th from 4 to 6 p.m. Moody Radio is thankful for support from listeners and businesses like Deerfield Ag Services. They help in adaptation of new technologies and techniques of farm and business management. More information about Deerfield Ag and how they can help is at deerfieldagservices.com.
Pastors have to make tons of decisions, including what to do to meet healthcare needs for themselves and their staff. Christian Healthcare Ministries specializes in making healthcare decisions easy and affordable. Not insurance, but a health cost sharing ministry for over 40 years. CHM opens the door for individuals, families, and yes, pastors to be a part of a biblical way to meet medical bills. Get more information and answers to your questions at chministries.org/Moody. That's chministries.org/Moody.
Keeping your eyes on Jesus in a changing culture can be difficult. Let us help. It's Mornings with Brian on Moody Radio, Cleveland.
7:20 WCRF. We're talking all Mother's Day this follow-up Friday. Wasn't necessarily what we planned on, but boy, there was a grandma that unleashed her fury on Lauren in a very unkind way, and we have been talking about that a bit. But I think some of this is actually reflective of when we allow something to get disordered from the way God designed it. I think you can end up with generational problems.
Mm-hmm.
And here's what I mean. I think, biblically speaking, if we're going to look at the order in family, and Lauren's our theologian, so you can correct me on this, we're supposed to love the Lord your God with all your heart, soul, mind, and strength, and your neighbor as yourself. So God is our number one love. You should love Jesus more than anything else in your whole life.
Mm-hmm.
Let me just say, first of all, I struggle with that.
Yes, me too.
Me
Like,
three.
it's like really hard to do. I remember first learning that, going like, wait, more than my wife? I love my wife a lot.
Yeah, she's the best.
It's also really hard to love someone you can't see.
Yeah.
True.
But God is supposed to be our number one, okay? And then in a Christian family, your spouse is next,
Mm-hmm.
then your kids. Okay? When that gets disordered, you're going to have dysfunction. And I think that's a lot of what we see today. And a lot of it, I think, is, to be honest, if I'm going to turn the tables on this a little bit, a lot of it is men who are not doing their job as husbands. So there's a phenomenon I've talked about before. It's called emotional incest. It's a terrible name.
Can we rename it?
I wish. When I first heard about it, I was like, please no. But no, here's how it works. You got a husband and wife.
Mm-hmm.
If the husband is not meeting his wife's emotional needs, or vice versa, but I got to be honest, I think it happens way more often for men. He's not available emotionally for his wife. She gets her emotional needs met by her children.
Mm-hmm.
And that's emotional incest. And guess what that creates? An unhealthy bond with kids that creates deep heartbreak when they leave the nest.
Mm-hmm.
And it creates dysfunction in adult relationships with kids. And shame on the husband for not doing what he's supposed to do. He doesn't get a pass on this. If men were the emotional support they need to be, their wives wouldn't need to turn to their kids, which they shouldn't do. They should turn to Jesus, but you know how we work as humans. I'm convinced this is a major part of the problem. That some of it is moms who just can't let go of their kids. And so they wreak havoc in their daughter-in-law's or son-in-law's lives. No?
Yeah, I think we see a lot of times the relationship between a mother-in-law and a daughter-in-law is very
Fractured.
broken. Yeah, fractured. I think we see it a lot.
It doesn't need to be. But go ahead.
I was just going to say, I pray for that all the time,
Mm-hmm.
that I will be a good, compassionate, loving mother-in-law. Because I've got one, but I have lots of friends who don't. And it's really hard.
And the boy moms struggle the most.
I know. Boy mom
You're
times
not mad
4.
at me for saying that?
No, of course we do.
Why is that?
I don't know. I really don't, because I'm not really praise the Lord, I'm not to mother-in-law, age yet. Not ready. I'm not ready.
It's amazing how close it is, but we won't go there.
Let's not go there.
One of your kids has a driver's license now.
Okay, guys. Just let me wrap my head around the driver's license this week and the freedom that brings. But
They're so cute.
Yeah.
Ugh.
Little boys?
Yes.
And they love their mamas and they hug
They
them and they kiss them.
They
know.
sure do. But I think I know, I'm a girl, so I know, when I gave birth, I wanted my mom, not necessarily, my mother-in-law could come around, but I wanted my mom first. And I think, I'm the mother-in-law eventually.
That's
I'm
going
not
to happen
the mom.
to you.
And that's going to happen. And I have to be okay with that. So I'm going to be a really great mother-in-law, I hope, I pray. But, I don't know why it feels that way, but I'm the mom of boys, not the girl mom. And that's what you do.
Yeah, my mother-in-law has 3 boys, no girls, and I really appreciate the work she's done to foster a good relation. All of her boys are now married. She's done a great job of fostering a relationship with all of us while also giving us space. And I know it's hard. 2 of her kids live out of state from her. I know she misses them. I know it's hard, but she's done a great job of letting us all be adults and foster our own lives.
Yeah.
Have you had to think through this much, the whole boy mom?
Oh my gosh, I think about it all the time.
Do you?
Yeah.
Tell me about
Because like
that.
Jamie, I have a lot of friends who don't have great relationships with their mother-in-law. And I've seen it. I don't want to be that mom.
So how do you prevent it?
I don't know.
I don't know either.
I'm going to follow Jamie.
Right, she's just a little bit ahead of you.
So I not that I have all the answers, but something my mother-in-law did is like she sort of trained her boys to be husbands. Like, this is how you're going to treat your future wife. I'm going to teach you to be neat so you don't drive her crazy. So she kind of always had in her mind, like, these are my babies, but they're going to leave the nest and they need to be good husbands. And that was always at the forefront of her mind.
I think boy moms have to let go a lot more than girl moms do when the kids leave the nest.
Yeah.
Because, my mom used to speak at MOPS groups about this very thing because she has 2 boys. And she would look at the moms in the room and go, hey, boy mom, someday you're going to be the mother-in-law. So you got to work on this now. And I appreciate that my mom did that because she experienced some heartbreak. And my wife tries her best. But at the same time, there's still a difference. Women get closer to their mothers when they leave the nest. Boys get distant from their mothers when they leave the nest.
Yeah, it's the leave and cleave.
Yeah, it's the way God designed it, right?
Yep.
But I thought you all would have some sort of grand theory here on how you're, young moms. I don't even know what you talk about with theories now. I remember you and Kathleen were talking about sleep training or something, and I'd never even heard of it. It hasn't been that long since we had babies. Fix this. Come on, where's the theory?
I don't have one.
Pray.
Yeah.
That's always a great first step.
Pray that, God intervenes and gives me a emotionally healthy relationship with my sons. And hopefully out of that will come a healthy relationship with his future family. And I think all of that is going to have to be, it is. I have to find my worth and my value in Christ first.
Yeah.
Not in being my boy's mom.
Yeah, you've got to work. I mean, men have to do this, but we're talking about moms. So women have to, I think, yes, focus on their relationship with Jesus intently when they have small babies. And then work real hard on your marriage. Because I think the goal ought to be, right, that when your kids leave the nest, your marriage is healthy and strong to the point that you're kind of excited.
Yeah.
That you're like, this is great. I get to hang out with my spouse again.
Yeah.
Not like, who is this?
Yeah.
Right.
If you've said that, you probably have made some mistakes that can be rectified. It's not all over here. But I would like to hear from some of the boy moms that did it right, or maybe learn some lessons the hard way. Because we got a couple of boy moms here who don't know how to do it. Because you've talked about before, like when you first had Trey, you were like, I'm in trouble here.
Yeah, I was so obsessed with him. Still am. So obsessed with him, I was like, this is not a good situation. I'm going to need another child to spread this out. Otherwise, it's not going to go well for him.
Did you feel that?
Oh my gosh. I can't even believe I'm going to say this on the radio, but I'm a freak of nature. And I was so obsessed with Micah. And I don't remember the math anymore, but I used to say, if I kiss him 100 times a day, it will take another woman like 10 years to make up to what I have kissed.
Oh my gosh. That's an example of what not to do, I think.
But it's also, I appreciate the honesty. That's a boy mom's heart.
It is. It's terrible.
Yeah.
Do you resonate with that?
Yes, I have never thought that, but that is, yes. Yes.
You could out-kiss your little boy.
Yeah, and I was like, I'll just have another child so that it can spread the love. No, I'm just also obsessed with Ellis. So
I know.
I can't blame you. They're both adorable.
No, they're the best.
You better have another one.
No, I'm done. Thank you very much.
Just one more.
No, I'm at my capacity.
She told us already. She's at her capacity. Take it easy.
Jamie's gonna fight.
It's 7:30. It's time for a quick break. 7:37 WCRF. It's a follow-up Friday. We got Jamie Buxton from City Mission in studio with us. Love having you here, sister.
Woohoo! Woohoo!
If you don't know, ask somebody. They'll tell you. We're having a great discussion this morning. If you're just tuning in, you missed a lot. But at the end of the day, we're currently discussing Mother's Day in light of how hard it really is to be a boy mom. Because it's hard to let go of your boys. Because they just get distant from their mothers as they get older. It's just the way we're designed.
You trying to make me cry again? I mean,
it's
let me have my Mother's Day this weekend.
It's a thing.
I know.
And what I find, the honesty you and Lauren are showing and saying, we know it's a thing. We can feel it coming because we love our boys so much. We don't know how to not do that.
And I have to give my husband some mad props because as you were talking before the song, just yesterday I was saying Gideon's my youngest. He's 8, and I was taking a nap after work, not making dinner while my husband did, just being totally transparent.
You took a nap.
I took a
and
nap.
You're a mother.
I did. I took a nap with the door shut and said, everybody leave me alone for an hour and I will come back nicer to everyone. And I did. But that's not the point of the story. Gideon busts in the door and he had made me something and it said mom and it had pink and red and it was the cutest thing I've ever seen in my life. And he was just given the best snuggles. And my husband came upstairs and, I was soaking in the love of Gideon. And I said, I think you love me the most out of your brothers. And he was like, yes, I love you the most. And my husband interjected and said, actually, I'm the boy who loves her the most. And I was like,
way to go, Sean.
Way to go, Sean.
Well played, Sean Buxton.
Yes, but that's exactly what you were talking about, is that it's that relationship first. And it's so hard to get that out of whack, ladies. I love my boys something fierce. But you have to loves me the most.
And you have to make it an intentional effort to, here's the even harder one, love Jesus the most.
Yes.
And then love Sean the most.
Yes.
Like that, well, not the most, not tied for the most, after that second.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yes.
So that's really hard to do.
Yeah.
And I can say that because I know I love my wife so much, it's hard for me to put Jesus first. But there's a weird dad thing. Like, I'm not struggling to love Sarah more than my kids. Not hard.
Yeah.
I don't know what it is. I love my kids, but
Yeah.
Do you feel that way?
I think I do if I sit and think about it.
You love your kids.
Yeah.
But Dana, she's
I'm with
number
her
one.
every day, and fortunately the kids are no longer in the house.
I think you answered your own question just there. Let's jump to the phones. We've got Elizabeth on the line as we talk about being a boy mom. Elizabeth, what do you have for us?
Well, good morning. I came in sort of midway through your conversation. I'm
That's okay.
a boy and a girl mom, had the boy first. And, probably when they were, young kids, I decided I'd read somewhere else about praying for their future spouses. So I began doing that they'd be protected and safe, and also that whoever they choose, I would choose to love so that there wouldn't be any tension. So when my son got engaged, he dated a lovely young woman for about 5 years. I had heard elsewhere about this, and I took her out for breakfast and told her this story that at a bridal shower, the future mother-in-law gave to her future daughter-in-law an apron with the apron strings cut off of it. And I said to her that was symbolic, that when she married my son, that I'd be relinquishing those apron strings, and that I understood that he was taking a wife and that she needed to be first in his life.
Oh, wow.
And we have an absolutely wonderful relationship. And I'm so thankful. I call her my daughter in love. And we're so glad she's in our family, and we're in hers, because her mother and I became very good friends as well.
Good. I love that, Elizabeth. It was so intentional. And sometimes it has to be that overt. It's not subtle. It's not just thinking about it. It's actually verbalizing it.
Right.
I like that. Thank you so much for the call.
You're welcome. God bless you all.
You too.
Yeah. Because I wonder if some of that daughter-in-law, mother-in-law tension is battling for the heart.
Probably.
Like, because sometimes I think the boy mom might still be, of the adult son, might still be fighting for his heart to be first, because she misses it. She misses the snuggles.
Yes. Again, you're getting me choked up, but yes, that's what I'm praying against. I want to be like Elizabeth.
Yeah. Let's go to Connie. Connie is on the line here. Connie, what's your comment for us?
Hi, good morning. I have a daughter and a son, and exactly what you've been saying. Oh, my goodness. My daughter and I have been closer since she's had children, for sure. My son, on his wedding day about 3 years ago, we were taking pictures, and he's like, Mom, this is too much. You need to let go. We need to separate. I'm getting married.
How did that feel?
And my son just, I was like, yeah, he's right. my heart a little bit, but I'm like, yeah, he's so right. And he's always been so sweet and loving and just, Lord help me here.
It's okay.
Kind to me. And just yesterday he called and we were supposed to get together with the bigger family on Sunday with my daughter. He's like, Mom, I want you and Mike, my husband, his stepdad, to come over, just you guys tomorrow. Can you guys just come over tomorrow? We'll have just some private time together. So what a blessing. Oh my gosh. And I just love them where we're at. And actually my daughter-in-law, her and I are kind of in the same field and serving and stuff. So it's just nice to sit back and just let them be who they are. God's just like, you need to let them be who they are and just love them where they're at,
What's your advice for Jamie and Lauren on how to, as they raise their boys, to be able to let go when they get married someday?
Oh, it's going to hurt you, ladies. I'll be praying for you. I totally understand that. Your hearts, I can feel your hearts big time. And it's just a natural letting go. You just have to let them go and just love them and love them as adults and let them do what they want to do. But, of course, pray for them every day. I'm sure you do. But you got to let them go.
And so you like my theory as well, right? That daughters actually get closer to their moms when they get married?
Yes. I totally believe that my daughter just was like, oh, my gosh, what my mom went through to raise us. Because she's raising from a 1-year-old, a 4-year-old, and an 8-year-old. And they have very strong personalities. We're very blessed to have them, but very strong personalities. I love them dearly. We're very blessed, but she's got her stuff cut out for her when they get older. Teenagers, Lord help us.
Yeah, preach, sister. Oh, man, I got 3 of them right now, and I love them to pieces, but it's a different kind of hard. But, boy, it's still hard. Whew.
Yes. So, but I'm very blessed, and I just resonated with your conversation, even though I heard like maybe 5 minutes of it.
No. I'm so glad you called because your insights are super helpful, and I think you're speaking to the heart of a lot of other moms. So, Connie, God bless you, and thank you for the call. I don't think there's a recipe, ladies. It's just going to hurt, and you're going to have to rip off the Band-Aid.
I get it. I hear it.
I actually kind of like Elizabeth's strategy, whether or not you do the symbolic apron thing. Maybe it is an intentional conversation.
Oh, I think so.
Like I with a future daughter-in-law, like I need to let go of my boy. He's going to be yours, and you need to be his. I mean, I wonder if there's power in speaking it.
I really remember my mother-in-law saying something along the lines of like, we love you and we're so excited for you. And I want you to know that we will always be here for the both of you. But Sean, there's no space here for you just alone anymore. So like coming here to complain or like getting away, that doesn't exist here. Oh. Something along those lines. And I was like, at the moment, I was like, that's kind of weird. But I'm like, yeah, that's exactly what we needed to hear. Because that was something I struggled with in the first year of marriage was calling my mom and saying, can you believe Sean did this? And then my mom would be mad for much longer than me. I had to quit telling her things because she was like, you hurt my baby by not whatever. I mean, it was all stupid stuff, right? But she was holding the grudge because she's my mom. And so you can't, you have to brace yourself as both sides of the relationship, I think.
And I don't remember who told me this, but they were talking about the other end of the spectrum where the dysfunction can look something like this. There was a couple in the area where they just had their first baby, but every morning he gets up and his mother lives nearby, and he goes and has a cup of coffee with his mother because that's what he's always done and that's what she wants. So he literally leaves his wife and their baby to have coffee with his mother in the morning. And I heard that and I said, oh no, disaster is ahead. Yeah. Red alert, red alert. He had no idea the level of control that she was exerting over her son when it was so inappropriate to do so. She may not even be aware of. That's why it's so important for young moms to be intentional about that.
Yeah, well, I appreciate Carol too. Like clearly she did something right with her son that he felt comfortable saying, listen, Mom, I love you. I'm getting married. you need to give me some space now.
Mm-hmm.
Cut loose.
Yeah.
Yeah. And, you know, it's hardest for, and you guys aren't going to like this, but the boy moms who don't have daughters.
Oh, sure.
Yeah.
Talk to
Because
my
they can't
mother
see
about
the other
that.
side. Yeah.
Yeah. They don't get a taste of the other side at all.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't mean it's not possible to have that growing, thriving relationship. I've watched my mom do a good job trying to build positive relationship with her daughter-in-laws. Like, she's got a great relationship with my wife.
Mm-hmm.
She probably talks to Sarah more than me.
I definitely talk to my mother-in-law more than Sean talks to his mom.
Mm-hmm.
Can't explain that one. Love my mom, but it's a lot to, I was going to say deal with one woman, but that comes out pretty sideways.
Ouch.
Guys listening know what I'm talking about. Oh, I need a break. Here we go. 7:51, follow-up Friday. We got Lauren, we got Daria, we got Ron.
Hello.
We've got Jamie Buxton.
Say, you're
Ciao.
gonna forget me.
Never.
It makes you last, so it's the best.
Right.
I'll take it.
You're all tied for best in my heart.
Okay.
But you're also below Jesus, my wife, and my kids. But whatever.
Thank
Yes,
you
good.
for the clarification. I appreciate that.
It's follow-up Friday. We got a bunch of grandmas coming in just a few minutes.
Mm-hmm.
Can't wait. Dana Eastwood. We've got Linda Uvegas, Crystal Kershaw.
Mm-hmm.
We're going to be talking a bit more
Jamie
about
Buxton's still here.
Mother's Day issues. Yeah, yeah.
Thanks, Daria.
I was listening to the
sticking
grandmas.
around.
I was just listing the grandmas.
Right.
Oh, yeah. I am not a grandma.
Not yet.
No.
Your
yeah.
oldest just got his driver's license.
I know,
So you're
Daria.
basically a grandma.
You know what's wild? I was telling my daughter Grace, she's home from her first year of college. Now she's still 18 because she has an August birthday. This would have been the summer that her mother got engaged to me.
Oh my gosh.
Big yikes.
We can't
Wow.
think about those things.
Yeah, my mom got married when she was 18.
Wow.
She did.
Okay, guys, let's back it up.
I have to stop and think of that sometimes, and then I get some sort of traumatic experience in my brain, and I have to like take a break or a nap or something.
Yeah.
Our children can't possibly be ready for this.
Well, on the opposite side of that, I was not a good person at 16, 17, 18. So I shouldn't say not a good person. I just was very boy crazy. So it can be either end of the spectrum.
I don't think any of us are ever ready for that. Doesn't matter when you
No.
get married, when you have kids. I don't think you're going to be ready.
I say, like in jest, I can't believe Sarah married me. But in reality, like remembering myself at that age, I can't believe she married such a jerk. So selfish.
Well,
And we all were. Are.
You don't
I was gonna
see
say,
your
still
selfish.
am.
Well, but you don't really see it till you get married.
no. You do not know what a jerk you are. Like, I have actually preached a sermon on this
Really?
very topic.
Wow.
Yes, because I remember in the first year of marriage, one day getting up and someone had bought me Bath and Body Works stuff. And so I had the all new stuff. And Sean was there getting ready. And I used, instead of what I thought was lotion, I used shower gel as lotion after showering, hair done, makeup done.
Sorry, it's kind of funny.
And rubbed it all over.
Oh, no.
And then I threw the world's biggest hissy fit, right? But when you're single or an only child and you throw a hissy fit like this, nobody sees.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But there was Sean at the opposite side of our bedroom watching me, like literally flailing around. Like, and then I was like, oh, marriage is a 24-hour mirror of yourself.
Yeah.
And this, like, I'm a jerk. That was the most ridiculous display. And I can, yeah.
Do you want to share stories? We can share selfish stories so you don't feel alone.
Sure.
Sarah didn't have credit when we first got married for a variety of reasons. My parents were intentional about that, so I had some.
Mm-hmm.
I thought I was so big time taking her to a car dealership. She was going to go off to police academy to get some training. She's going to be away for the summer. My woman needs a car, you know. We went in there. I was like, pick out whatever you want, you know, one of those kind of dumb things. And she picks out the car. And I had to leave early because we're meeting some friends. I didn't get to drive the car. We get home that night, and I kind of realize this is my car.
Oh, no.
Like, I don't even get to drive my car. You're just going to take it for a few months. I just paid for this thing. It's my name on it. I was so selfish and rude. I drove that car around the block for like half an hour because I was like, that's mine. I can't believe I just did this. It's so horrible.
Yeah.
I'm so ashamed. Lord, forgive me. You're
jerks.
you're horrified by me.
It's so rude.
Have you heard that story?
Yeah, I have.
I don't look at me like that. I'm better now.
Yes, it's just funny.
It's so selfish. Okay, your turn.
I can't think of anything right now. I'm sure there is something. I just don't have it at top of mind.
You are more spiritual than me.
No, that's not true.
Anyone else have a selfish story?
I'm like Lauren. I just can't remember. I'm sure that Dana will tell you some,
them.
I'm sure.
Dana's going to have one for us here.
Yeah, I have one about Eddie, but not myself.
You have an Eddie story?
Yeah, he said it in jest. He was just like really joking around. He one time, it was literally probably about something about snacks, and he says, "What's yours is mine, and what's mine is ours."
Jimmy said that when we got married. He said, what's mine is, or what's yours is yours, and what's mine is ours," or something like that.
I was like, no.
That's pretty good. We got Rebecca on the line. I don't want her to wait too long here. Rebecca, welcome to the show. What would you like to talk about?
Hi, thank you. I love your program. Listen every day.
Thank you.
I just had this conversation with my future daughter-in-law. My son just got engaged over the holidays, and we had some private time together. We went, and she included me in dress shopping for her wedding. So I was so touched because I only have one, and he's a boy. So I would never experience that otherwise. So that was just wonderful, and I got to bond with her family. So the conversation I just had said to her was, I have been praying for my son's wife for all these years, and when he was a little boy, I used to pray with him about his future wife, and he'd go, "Stop, Mom, I'm not married," So it's coming to fruition, and he's had a medical condition his whole life, and my future daughter-in-law in August will be graduating with her PhD, so I find that God is sovereign. He put somebody in his life that will be so helpful for him in his future, and for me to hand over that mom card of taking charge of all the medical stuff is really, really, really hard.
Yes.
But I know she's really, really capable, and I told her we're a team, and I love Anthony very much, but I love you, and I'm always here for you, and I didn't have that for, like, a mother-in-law. So I really wanted to make sure that she understood that I understand her and that I am, passing him over, but I love him dearly. Yeah, it's a hard thing to do, for sure, boy. It's a hard thing to do, but I love her dearly, and I think she likes me a lot.
How did she respond to that, to that conversation?
She was really, she was touched, I think. She was touched. She was quiet. I think she appreciated it. And I told her, I said, the things I see me ask him to do around here, around the house, I don't need him to do because I can do all these things. I'm very capable. I said, but I'm doing it for you, sweetheart. I said, I'm raising someone's husband. And I said, taking out the garbage and the laundry and the groceries, that's hard for boys when they're 24, 25. That is not at all what they're thinking or seeing. But I want him to do those things for his wife. So
You're a good mama.
Yeah, you are.
I try. Thank you all
are.
for the program. I'm sure you're helping a lot of people at least think, for sure.
Lord willing.
And they're praying for those those daughter-in-laws, ladies.
Yes.
Yes.
Huge.
Yeah, that's so great. Rebecca, God bless you. Thanks for the sweet call and for that testimony, because, again, I think that's the secret sauce we're learning is that intentional discussion, almost like a literal baton handoff. Not that your sons are batons, but well, sometimes we're about that smart. Right.
I like to where she's raising her son to do things around the house. Like on Jimmy's college dorm floor, he had to teach almost everybody how to do laundry.
Yeah.
Like 20, 22.
Cool.
Like, moms, your kids aren't going to be babies forever. So I'm sure a lot of future wives appreciate that.
I asked my son to run the dishwasher this week, the 16-year-old. And he was like, I'm like, are you actually serious right now? And he was like, yeah, what do I do? So we learned that this week, and that you need soap to do so. And so we're moving forward.
You're a good mom. That's a good mom move. Way to go. And I shout out to her daughter-in-law for bringing her along for the dress thing. That reminded me where I'm so proud of my wife. My wife did this. My wife knew that my mom had two boys. She'd never get a chance to go dress shopping. And she brought my mom along for dress shopping, and it meant the world to my mother.
Oh, that's sweet.
Because you know how that's like, that's a thing. It's like a rite of passage as a young woman picking out her wedding dress.
I know it was a traumatic time for us.
So, young ladies listening, don't forget your mother-in-law. You don't have to do that, but especially if she's a boy mom. Jamie Buxton, unless some sweet woman does not allow her to do that, will not get a chance to do it.
They better let me go.
And I was thinking about you with the medical thing. Like, how hard will it be with Trey's allergies?
Yeah, my hope and goal is one day my boys will take on their own, medical situations.
Well,
but
right,
it'll be
but
hard.
having another human around to worry about it and be careful, it's like you almost want to look at this future woman and go, do you really understand how serious this is? You were not with me at the hospital when he had the allergy.
Yeah.
Do you know how to use this EpiPen?
Yes.
Get over here.
Yep.
It's going to be hard not to do that.
Blue to the sky, orange to the thigh, people.
I don't know what that means.
That's why you use an EpiPen.
Yeah.
I'm like, I have one and I've never heard of that.
What is it?
Blue to the sky, orange to the thigh.
Okay.
That's what I'm going to teach my daughter-in-law.
Thank you for teaching me right now.
It's 8:01. It's time for Ron's News. And then the grandmas are coming in. It's going to be a big mom and grandma extravaganza as we keep chatting about Mother's Day and what it looks like and how to celebrate moms and all that. With Dana Eastwood, Crystal Kershaw. We've also got Linda Uvegas. We've got Lauren Cuevas. And we got Jamie Buxton. It's a mom extravaganza. 8:09 WCRF. The mom extravaganza has just gotten cranked up. We already had a couple moms in with us. Jamie Buxton from City Mission in studio. Yay, Jamie.
Yay.
Woohoo!
Old news by now.
Lauren Cuevas with us as well. And in the studio, we've got 3 other moms joining us, 2 in studio, 1 on the phone. So first of all, the lovely, the talented Dana Eastwood.
Yay.
Yay.
If you don't know, it's the same last name as Ron because they're married.
Yay. I'm so excited to meet her.
If I only had a whole morning to just get Ron stories, I would.
Okay.
But we keep organizing this around something else.
Okay.
Also in studio, the lovely and talented Crystal Kershaw.
Yay!
Happy to be here.
She's with Fieldstone Counseling, usually talks to us about psychology and things like that and counseling. You may have to do a lot of that today as well.
Amen. Bring it on.
And then on the phone, CEO of City Mission and mom of, if I recall, 5 kids, Linda Uvegas.
Good morning. Good to be here with you.
Now, am I right? Is it 5 kids you have?
Yeah, 5 kids and 5 grandkids and 1 on the way.
Wow.
Yeah.
So what are the age ranges of the kids, if I can ask?
Sure. So my adult children?
Yeah.
Yes. So the oldest is 34, then it's 33, 31, 30, and then a 24-year-old.
You were a busy mama.
I am so shocked she got all that right. I think we should fact check her. I kind of got to quit knowing the ages. Sure. Good job, Linda.
Jamie has the inside scoop. She could do that.
Yeah, they work together at City Mission. So, and then the grandkids, what are their ages?
So my son adopted 2 children. So him and his wife have a 13-year-old and a 6-year-old. And then my daughter, Leah, she has a 5-year-old and a 3-year-old. And then my daughter, Abby, has a 2-month-old.
Beautiful. Wow, you got a nice range there. All right, Crystal, your turn. Tell us about the kids and grandkids.
Okay, so I have 3 kids, 31-year-old boy. He's not married yet. 28-year-old daughter. She's married. She has 2 kids. So I am a nanny. That's my official term.
Cute.
Yeah, kind of not going to grandma yet, but I know it means it's there. I don't know what. And she has a 2-year-old and a 2-week-old, which is very sweet. And then I have a 26-year-old daughter who is also married.
Beautiful. All right, Dana, throw it down.
Okay. We have, let's see, Ryan will be 40 in June. Mark will be 30, and Jenna is 38. And she has our 4 grandkids.
And the oldest is 12? No.
13. She just turned 13. Yeah.
Wow.
13, 8, 4, and almost 2.
Okay, so let's start with you, Dana. What was that transition like becoming a grandma? What did that feel like for you when you suddenly became one? You remember?
I was blessed to be in the room when Lexi was born. Yeah. I was with Jenna when all the babies were born.
Because she's a girl mom.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. There's strength in that.
And we're very close, but it was awesome. I don't even know what word would describe it. I mean, I got to cut the cord and, be with her in the little warmer when they were giving her shots and cleaning her up. And it was amazing, just amazing.
And it felt different than your own children.
It did. I don't know why. I think because it's like the icing on the cake. And we don't have to make those huge decisions that Jenna and her husband have to make.
So you can almost enjoy it more.
Yeah. I know that sounds kind of harsh maybe, but...
Well, I mean, it probably didn't hurt as much to be in the room as Grandma.
No, I walked right out to my car.
You weren't doing the work this time?
Yeah, I wasn't doing the work. So, yeah, it's just amazing. It's just awesome.
What about you, Crystal? Describe becoming a grandma.
I've said it many times now. It's just the dessert on motherhood. It's just so beautiful. I think two things really stand out. First of all, I could savor the miracle of birth more when it wasn't me and I wasn't so involved in all the intricate details of that. So I think just the miracle of new life and also knowing, I mean, you see your child giving birth and you know what life has been like. My daughter has the two with her, and what a beautiful journey. So you know what they're in for. Yes, there are hard things, but such blessings. I mean, such incredible blessings. So, and then just to be able to be part of it, not having to do all the heavy lifting, getting to experience the joy. I think you savor it more. I think I savor it much more than I did motherhood. Motherhood's so busy. Everybody, you're just trying to keep up. So you can't savor much.
That's a good word. Linda, what about you? Linda Uvegas from City Mission. What did it feel like to become a grandma for you?
Well, it was pretty unique being the first granddaughter was adopted. And so she was 5 years old when she was adopted. And my son was in the Air Force and stationed in Pensacola. So we flew down there right away to meet her. And that was just amazing. And the minute she saw me, which was just really special, she goes, "I'm going to call you Grandma."
Oh.
And it just, I just thought, you don't even know me. And she was just so sweet. And so that was a really an amazing blessing to see and to be part of that. And then also for my children who have, had biological children, 2 daughters. And I think the best thing is watching your children parent. And my goal and my heart is that they do better than I did. And they are. And I'm just so amazed at watching them just care for their children and make mistakes along the way. Certainly, sometimes you feel, oh, I don't think I would have done that, but I let them figure that out. And it's just a wonderful thing. And most of all, they all just have a relationship with Jesus and seeing that and them lead their families.
Beautiful. All right. It is 8:16. This is Mornings with Brian and a follow-up Friday. We've got a whole bunch of moms with us. We're talking to the grandmas now, Dana Eastwood, Crystal Kershaw, Linda Uvegas. When we come back from this break, we've chatted a lot this week about an awkward TikTok debate about what is Mother's Day really about? Who gets to kind of drive what it's going to be like? We haven't had the grandma perspective in the studio yet or on the phone. So I want to get that grandma perspective on Mother's Day in just a few minutes. 8:19 WCRF. We've got a whole bunch of moms in here. We've got, we have so many people. I'm having a hard time. We've got Lauren Cuevas on our team. She's a mom, and she's chatting with us this morning about Mother's Day. We got Jamie Buxton from City Mission, Linda Uvegas from City Mission, Dana Eastwood from Ron Eastwood, sort of.
That's her mission.
And Crystal Kershaw from Fieldstone Counseling. We're chatting about a number of things. Lauren, would you mind kind of framing this has been a weird year for the warm-up to Mother's Day online with a big debate about moms.
Yeah. bring it closer. Yeah. We're sharing a mic, everybody. Me and Brian. So basically, it was a young mom saying, we always have to pack up our kids and go to my mother-in-law's house and kind of do what she would like to do for Mother's Day. And it's a big thing. I have to bring a side dish. I have to, get my kids all ready. And then their house isn't baby-proof, so I'm constantly just like running around the house chasing them, so they don't get harmed or break something. And just for Mother's Day, I would like to do something by myself. I would like to just take some time by myself and it not be about this big get-together or something like that. And as a mom, that's what I would like to do to feel honored and celebrated on Mother's Day. And so then grandmas were coming back and saying, well, it's about honoring moms and you need to honor all the moms in your family. And so you need just to get together and go to your mother-in-law's house or your mom's house because that's what she wants to do. And it's about honoring all moms. And then it became a broader debate of like who's actually in the trenches of motherhood. Is it the active duty moms? Is it the veteran moms? Who's really doing the hard work? And is the hard work of an active duty mom, equal or the same as a veteran mom?
It got mean.
Yeah, they were getting pretty mean. I was sending Brian some videos.
So let's start with Linda. I'm going to try to divide up who goes first. What's your take on this debate, Linda?
Oh boy, that's tough. So what we've done, I can relate to that young mom when we had all of our kids, and then my mom lived in town, and my husband's mom lived in town, and then we split the day, and it's like, well, when do I get my time? It just felt that we were divided. But what we started doing is, let's take Saturday and take your mom out for lunch or take them out for dinner. And we would do that with our moms. And then we could have Sunday be kind of our day and just kind of our little family or something, so that everybody felt loved and cared for and honored, because I do think it's important. But now, days, so my kid, my daughter has a 2-month-old, and I'm thinking, well, I'm going to go to her house and see the baby and take care of her or make her feel special. It's her first Mother's Day. So I don't know. I think it helped us to be able to kind of split up the time on a Saturday evening or a Saturday lunch and make it special.
Okay. Dana Eastwood. What's your take on this? Like, which mom is in the trench? Is it the grandma? Is it the mom? Should Mother's Day be about grandmas, the matriarch? Primarily should be. Have you figured this out?
I have not figured it out, Brian. And this is all new, when Ron told me this whole thing, and I haven't watched any of the TikTok stuff about it. I'm not a TikTok person anyway.
And it's actually hard to watch. People are really mad at each other.
Okay.
These women were very mean to each other. Ugh.
Oh, well. I guess Mother's Day, our family, we just usually all get together. It's always about my mom, I feel like. It's my mom. I guess I don't have myself in that spot yet, so to speak. My kids, they call, they send a card. The boys are out west, so we don't get to see them. And Jenna usually stops by. But now I try to do something for her, flowers or something she can't physically do because she's a hot mess running with all these kids, So we try to help with that. But I really try to honor my mom. And we tried to do that with Ron's mom, too. I guess I never really thought about dragging all the kids over to my in-laws' house. It was just what we always did. Mm-hmm. But now that our daughter is a mom, we still try to have my sister, my niece, everybody usually is together. And we just sort of all hang out on Mother's Day usually. This year will be different. My mom is sick, so we're going to be celebrating the end of the month because she's got to go for treatment. So we won't have it our traditional Mother's Day on Sunday. We'll do it in a couple weeks.
Yeah, and that's even harder for you because you're caring for your mom.
Yes, yeah. So, and I guess Mother's Day, I just always feel like it's the mom. So I'm a mom, but I don't put myself in that category so much. I always think about my mom. I don't know. It's hard, I guess. I can't really explain it. But it makes me really appreciate moms. And especially the moms I see like Lauren, like you. I don't know how I did it. I look back when we were in the trenches with kids and tag teaming it, and I think, how did we survive that? I remember telling Ron, I'm done. I'm done. Let's take them out of soccer. Let's take them out of choir. It's just, this is ridiculous. You know, all the things that you have to do. And like you said, you're running a million different places, and definitely not in the trenches. But I think Mother's Day it's a great holiday, but then there are a lot of people that don't have a mom to celebrate. Like, you know, my dear mother-in-law is not around anymore. And I really miss not being able to, you know, celebrate with her. So, I don't know.
You have a lot of feelings about Mother's Day, and I think
I love Mother's Day. I do.
You love it?
I love Mother's Day, yeah.
Yeah, and I appreciate your words on that. Goodness, because you're torn in the middle.
I am. Right now, I feel like, you know, I'm helping my mom, which I'm blessed to be doing that. I love taking care of, you know, going over and doing dinners, cleaning, shopping, whatever. And then I get to help take care of grandkids. So I'm right in the middle of, you know, it's kind of like when we had our youngest, he's 8 years behind the older kids. So we had kids running around listening to like pop rock, and then we had Barney on the in the car. And the kids would be like, no more Barney, you know, and they want Spice Girls, you know. So it's like we're going back and forth. That's kind of what I'm doing right now, too. But it's the season that I'm in. It's just where I'm at right now.
Yeah. Crystal, I saved you for last for two reasons, because I want two different perspectives from you. I want Crystal the grandma and Crystal the counselor. So, Crystal the grandma, what do we do with this Mother's Day debate between grandmas and moms?
Well, I guess when I think about the Mother's debate between grandmas and moms, I have to think about it from a perspective of a believer. And I think you alluded to it earlier. I would say as believers, we have to remember it's not about us. It just can't be about us. So it has to be about God's glory. It has to be about loving him with our heart, mind, soul, and strength, loving our neighbor as ourselves. Pardon me. Sometimes I think our neighbor means that they need it more than we do, right? If we're finding, so for example, I believe young moms need encouragement. I do believe they need time away. I do believe they need to be renewed and refreshed, because they are doing the busy work of mothering. And so I guess I would say to the grandmas involved in this debate, why is there so much neediness there that leads to control? As a believer, I would have to look to that. And I understand, pardon me, I do understand that desire, like, hey, it's Mother's Day. I'm used to having, you know, people come to my house. I always hosted Mother's Day for years and years. The last couple of years, my son has been making a dinner for us on Mother's Day. Now this year, my mother-in-law, we're having dinner for her on Mother's Day. So my dinner will be on Saturday night. That's fine. It doesn't matter. It makes no difference. But the demand for control, that does sort of say there's a gap somewhere. And as a believer, I have to look at that and say, am I really looking to the Lord to answer my neediness, right? Is she really enough for me, or am I trying to grab from my kids attention, control, a feeling of self-worth? And if so, then that's where this big debate comes up. Do I need it more than anybody?
I can just picture, though, the grandmas on TikTok making a new TikTok that says, oh, yeah, Crystal Kershaw, you may be a grandma, but you know who's being selfish? It's these moms. The moms want to get their break, those selfish moms, and they want to have Mother's Day their way. They're the ones being selfish, not me.
Well, and so I would just say the power of life and death is in the tongue. And so you get to decide. Now, as older believers, I think there's a call to wisdom there. And you either pick up the call or you don't. If you're more concerned with your own needs, then you're not going to be able to pick up that wisdom call. But I will say this, and I often see it, and you know, I think all of us recognize this. Insecurity will lead to this grab for control. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And if I desire to control adult children or control, you know, moms who are part of my adult clan, and, you know, control what happens, control who goes where, what happens, my desire for that control is going to lead to less influence. So I have to ask myself, what do I really want? I mean, I can't control my adult children. I mean, I have wonderful children. They are fantastic. They make their own decisions. They lead their own lives. My prayer is that I have an ability to influence them. So if I want to influence, I have to back off control, because all of us know if someone tries to control us, well, you know, the message that the other person receives is, you don't know what you're doing. You can't figure it out. It's, you know, I need to come in, swoop in, and control your life. So when it comes to young moms, older moms, I think older moms are forgetting. I mean, Dana has not forgotten. Linda has not forgotten. I've not forgotten how busy and how hard it was. But I don't, I mean, I have the ability to encourage now. I don't need to be saying, well, I paid mine, so you better just, you know, pay yours. And that doesn't encourage.
Linda, what are your thoughts to that? Go ahead.
I just love all of that. That was so good, Crystal. And I feel that. I don't know. I want to serve. I want to serve my adult children in their space where they're at, meet them where they're at with their kids, or even if they don't have kids. And I'm not interested in making much about myself this Sunday. So I just really, I love that perspective. And of course we can't control them. That's such a false sense of, I don't know, power. We just don't have that. And we wouldn't want to. I don't want to. I want to see them make those decisions and go through life and figure things out on their own. So I'm all about caring for that young mom on the front lines and serving.
Amen.
Dana, any thoughts you want to add to all that?
I don't know. That was some heavy stuff. Sorry. It's great.
But it was gentle but heavy.
Yeah.
I mean, if I would have said that, it would have sounded like a ton of bricks.
It was perfectly said. She's right. I mean, I think that it's such a great thing to raise your kids and watch what they do, you know, and how they go out, and you just hope you've equipped them well enough. And our kids they're great. They're out on their own. They're doing their own stuff. And we just have to pray every day, and hopefully they can come to us if they need advice, and we can guide them the right way. And I don't feel like it's about me on Sunday. I still feel like it's, and I'll do whatever, you know. I mean, if we want to do something Saturday, we want to do something Monday, end of the month, it's just so we can acknowledge mom, you know. Yeah. And we're all moms, all of us getting together. So however we do it, we just decide to do it. And there's not enough hours in a day. There's not enough days in a week to get everything done that you want to get done.
And, you know, if you want to push away your adult child, try even just a little bit to control them. Try a little bit, and they'll run from you as fast as they can.
Yes, they will.
And I don't know why that doesn't sink in for some folks. Lauren, you're even talking about somebody on TikTok who was trying to give advice to mother-in-laws, right? But she has no relationship with any of her. What was that?
Yeah, it was a mom who was estranged, and she was trying to give advice to other parents who are estranged, but she has no relationship with any of her children.
Yeah. Doesn't seem like a good place to give advice, but it's just me. All right, 8:33. We're going to take a quick break, and we come back, and we'll talk more with the grandmas and moms here on a follow-up Friday on Mornings with Brian, WCRF. 8:36 on a follow-up Friday. We have lots of friends with us here. We've got Linda Uvegas on the phone from City Mission, where she's CEO. We got Jamie Buxton from City Mission, right next to me.
Where Linda is my boss.
Where Linda, yes.
There you go.
World's best boss.
Yes.
Tied with our boss, Josh Villa. Crystal Kershaw from Fieldstone Counseling. And we have grandma wife extraordinaire, Dana Eastwood.
You say that.
Ron's wife, Dana, with us in studio. One of the other things I wanted to hear from the grandmas about, because we were chatting about this, Lauren's got 2 boys. Jamie's got, I always forget, 4 boys?
Yeah, you always say 5, and there's only 4.
Maybe you should have another one. Maybe you're being prophetic. I don't know.
Round up. Sean won't let me.
Well, we got 2 boy moms. And I've heard over the years from my own mother and others that there's this unique, painful experience of being a boy mom. And Dana, let's start with you here.
She's already tearing up. I can't take it.
Tell me about the uniqueness of being a boy mom.
I don't know. Well, our youngest is in a very, very serious relationship. And I think that they'll probably end up getting married. And, they're out in Oregon. And I told Ron, I said, we need to just sell the house, sell everything we own, live in a little bitty condo so we can travel. Because when they get married and start having babies, I'm going to have to be out there once a month.
Yeah.
And then I'm listening.
Stressed out Ron.
He's like, no, slow down. I don't know. It's definitely, I don't know, because you have such a different relationship with boys. There's just that special love and, I don't know, that bond. I don't know how to describe it.
It's different than your daughter.
It's a lot different than my daughter. I mean, the boys, I almost want to say my boys need me more than my daughter. She's independent, she's strong, and the boys just, they're not wimpy, but I don't know, they just needed me more growing up too. Like they were easy to raise, easy to like, easy to love, very obedient, but hard to let go, very, very hard to let go of the boys. And it was hard to let her go too when she went to college. That was a hard one. But the boys, when they left to go to Portland, I cried for the whole day. The whole day I cried. So I don't know. It is hard with boys. And because you're a woman and you know what it's like when you start having the kids. And I'm closer to my mom than I am to, my dad. So and my daughter's close to me. And she's close to her mother-in-law, too. She has a great relationship with her in-laws.
But it's different.
It is different. I don't know what it is. I mean, maybe, she and I are like very, very, very close, especially since she started having babies, She'll call me and ask advice. I'm like, oh, I don't know. What did you do? And I said, well, this is what we did, but we don't do that anymore. they don't spank anymore. And, I didn't get in your little face and have a debate with you. I just said, no is no. And that was it. But yeah, boys, I don't know what it is about boys, but it's hard to let them go. It's harder to let a boy go.
Was it the same for you, Crystal Kershaw?
Yeah. So I think I have friends who are boy moms, and they will say, it is different. Mm-hmm. And I think for me, I mean, I love my son so very much, and I do feel like there's something special about my role in his life. Now, he's not married yet, so that role has not been usurped yet.
But she's crying thinking
Amen.
about
it. I mean, I know it has to, I want it to be healthy and all that.
Some other woman is going to come in his life.
Mm-hmm,
yep.
Mm-hmm. And so so I do feel like I always felt with him, I had a special role of influence. I'm very close to my daughters, and those relationships, like you said, they're I think I get to serve my daughters more. I have to sort of look for ways to serve my son, and I love to do that. Mm-hmm. He asked me earlier this year, I was laughing because he has a house, and he said, oh, I was wondering, could you make me some curtains for this one room? I haven't made curtains in like 15 years. I know. I was like,
but he needs you.
Yeah, I would love to do that. I'm thinking, where do I still have a sewing machine? But it was, yeah, exactly. So I did. I made him curtains, and I loved every minute of it. I like milked it, because he's living his own life. I mean, he's 31. He's doing well. He has great friends. He has a good job, and he's a wonderful guy. So anyway, yeah, it's just a little different. Whereas with the girls, I don't know. I feel like I can always find a way to help.
Linda Uvegas, what about your experience being a boy mom?
Yes, so I have 4 girls and a boy.
Micah
is our son, and he's number 2. And it's just, Micah has always been so logical. He is, if it makes sense, and then that's it. And I just remember, even still now, like, well, Micah, what about the feelings? There's emotion. You might be right and all logical and everything, but there's other things to think about. So really trying to get him to think also with his heart and emotions, it's just funny because that's not something I think doesn't come natural to him. But like I mentioned, he was in the Air Force for 7 years, and now he's out and moved back to Cleveland, which is wonderful because he wanted to be next to his family. And that just meant a lot. And so I do remember the day he got married, and we were doing the mother-son dance, and he said to me, and his hope was that his new wife would follow in my footsteps. As
Did you
mom.
just melt into a puddle?
I did. That was like the highest compliment he could ever give me, and I was just awed because as a mom, I think many times I feel like I have failed so many times. I blew it here or I blew it there, and for him to say that just really, it meant a lot to me.
Do you think it meant more coming from a son than if your daughters said they want to be just like you?
Oh.
Or is it the same?
I think it's the same. It really is. I'm close to all of them, and I'm so grateful for that. And as everyone has mentioned already, it's all about meeting them where they're at and loving them where they're at. And I remember one of my good friends, she's about 10 years, ahead of me, and she would say that to me. And when the kids were little, I'm like, oh no, I'm the boss here. They're going to do what I say, and it's so funny how that changes over time. And even when they're little, meet them where they're at and hear their heart and do a lot more listening than telling.
And wow, your son waiting till the mother-son dance to say that. Oh, what a move. Okay, so Jamie Buxton, you're a boy mom and your oldest is 16.
Yes.
What I can see you processing, hearing the moms talk about being a boy mom.
Processing, I'm just holding back tears, but I've been watching Linda be a mom for years, and she is the kind of mom I want to be. So why am I crying? But I say it all the time. If my kids like each other as much as her kids like each other, then done deal. But we're not in that phase of life yet where they like each other.
And that's
not
why it's
anywhere
hard.
near. So I'm like, whew, I just pray for that day that they will like each other and have each other's back someday.
I resonate with that because it's a struggle when they're younger and you're like, what's wrong with you people? Like each other. You're all great. You're different.
Siblings are built-in, God-ordained friendships. Come on.
So how do you react to that comment, Linda? I'm assuming your kids fought with each other when they were little.
They did. They were, Jamie gets to see the other, little past. You don't see every detail. And when I've blown it or I've gotten angry or they've hit each other or things like that. But yeah, that is, I just know how flawed I am. And it's so hard, and I think mothers deal with so much guilt and shame. And I don't think that's good. And it's taken me a long time to get to that point. And really, and I remember saying to my kids too, because of them, I am who I am today, and they have helped me shape the person I am today, and they make me better. And it's just I learn. It's amazing to learn from your kids, and I do. I learn a lot from my adult children and my grandchildren.
Wow. We got a lot of good mamas in this room here. It's 8:46, time for a quick break. When we come back, I'd love to hear more from the grandmas about what Linda just brought up, how hard moms are on themselves, and what words of wisdom you might have on that. We'll get to it in just a minute. 8:48 WCRF. We got a few more minutes yet with this mom panel. It's a super mom panel. Lauren Cuevas, Jamie Buxton, Linda Uvegas, Dana Eastwood, Crystal Kershaw. And before we do that, though, we're going to start with Dana. But first, you've got a little shout-out you want to do.
Yes.
And you're a grandma. You do what you want.
Yes. Okay, I'm a grandma. So this is one of my favorite families. To Jake, Autumn, Kristen, and Jonah Freet in Wadsworth. Good morning and have a great day, everybody.
Hi. That's the best.
I love them. They're awesome.
Okay, so I want to hear your heart, too, as well, about what Linda brought up. She brought up how moms are filled with guilt and shame a lot of the time, and they carry that. Was that your experience?
Oh, yeah. I messed up a lot. And even now, I look back and I think, good grief, what was I thinking? You know, because you learn all through life. And it's easy now to sit back and go, well, just do it this way. You know, this is what worked after we tried and had to switch gears. I carry a lot of guilt for mistakes I made, things I said and I shouldn't have, and we've had to apologize, or I've had to go back and say, I'm sorry, I handled that wrong, you know?
Well, that's something you and Ron have done, and Ron talked about it just a couple days ago, that I told him how much I admire that, where a lot of parents don't have the courage to look at their children and say, when I did X, Y, and Z, it hurt you and it was wrong, and I'm sorry. It takes so much courage, Dana, to do that.
It does, but, you know, with our oldest son especially, we've had situations where I thought we handled things right and we didn't. You know, I handled things how I thought other people would say, they would even say, well, this is what I would do. And we would do that because we thought it was the Christian thing to do. And we weren't loving him, you know, because they're different and they teach us things too. That's one thing I like about having the kids where they're at is we meet so many people that are in different walks of life and different phases of life and different faiths or no faith, or, you know, it's interesting how they teach us stuff. The older I get, the more I learn, and I appreciate that.
That's the humility of Christ in you is what that is.
Yes, it is.
Crystal, guilt and shame. You counsel people that deal with this, but you're also a mom and a grandma. Have you battled this, and what does that look like for you?
Absolutely. I think, as Dana said, you do what you feel is best, but even in doing what I felt was best, there were many times when I messed up, and I knew I messed up, and you know, I had to apologize all the time. I continue to have to apologize.
It's hard.
Because I'm a sinner. I think motherhood is one of the most sanctifying processes that we believers will go through. It's definitely refining fire, and we don't all do it right. I think the generation that was before us, there was that assumption that whatever they did was right, and that was very hurtful, and that wasn't helpful. Guilt, I think, comes from the conviction of the Holy Spirit and can lead to confession, repentance. That's good. Shame does not. Shame is generally from our enemy, right? So that has really been a struggle for me as a mom to say, okay, if I've done something wrong, I'm convicted. I need to take it to the Lord. I need to take it to the person who I wronged. And then I need to let it go and not let it cycle through and not let it color the way I move forward with my kids, with my grandkids. Yeah, mom guilt is a huge thing. And I think because women tend to compare, we always feel like, oh, maybe I should have done it that way, or maybe I should be doing this, or I should be doing that. And it is fascinating for me how things, even in terms of mothering, what is good or what is wise, how that sort of changes sometimes as we learn more about how kids develop and what they need when they need it.
And now we've got about 3 minutes left, just because we have a big crowd. I want to be sure I'm not saying that to one person. But Linda Uvegas, what's your word of wisdom for young moms who are dealing with that guilt and shame right now?
Oh, that's so good. I would say, and I tell my daughters this, and my son and my daughter-in-law, to give yourself grace. And it's so hard to be gracious to yourself, but give grace to you. And I just know that will help because, and I think, Crystal, what you said, the comparison, you have everything on social media. My little child did this or mine did that, and you're comparing, and you feel you can never, ever keep up. And that comparing is not healthy. So be gracious to yourself.
Does that resonate with you, Lauren, what she just said about social media and comparing?
Yeah, I think so, because you can see into everyone's homes what their babies are doing, where back in the day you didn't get to see that. But now you get to see, oh, her baby's sitting, mine's not even rolling. Like, how is that? What's wrong with my baby? And what have I done wrong? You know, or, oh, her kid for me, like, oh, her kids don't have allergies. Like, look at kind of life that she gets to live. She gets to, they eat whatever they want, and I have to read labels all day, every day, and I have to be scared when the preschool calls me thinking my son is having an allergic reaction or whatever. So you can just see into people's lives more, and it's hard.
Jamie?
Yeah. I think not even just seeing the child, but seeing the stuff around them. Oh, look at the house that they're in, and how is that so clean? Or why is that so dirty? Or why don't I do it that way? Or so it's comparison on every level. And you're a little outnumbered in this room, Brian, but I don't think men have any idea what goes on in the minds of women when it comes to comparison and how long that list really is.
Yeah, I mean, I think dads do it too, but not to the level moms do. And I think we also heard today, it's not just they compare to each other, but women are mean to each other.
They can be.
I don't think men are that mean to each other. Ron?
No, and if we are, like, you get in a fight and it's over. Yeah. And then you're friends the next day.
Yeah, women aren't only mean, we hold grudges.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, we do.
And that's, I think the value of what we did today is to perhaps just soften somebody's heart to be more gracious to themselves or somebody else. But I'll say, we're surrounded by, Daria, we're surrounded by a whole bunch of awesome moms.
Amen.
And I am grateful to each and every one of you for coming in today. I wish we had more time to be able to dig into each of your stories and such, but your honesty and transparency is so valuable. I know someone's going to be blessed today. So from all of us, happy Mother's Day.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Linda U. Vegas, thank you. Dana Eastwood, Crystal Kershaw, Lauren Cuevas, Jamie Buxton, thank you so much. And I remembered everyone's name.
Yes, you did.
You did. Good job.
I don't even know my own kids' birthdays. Getting prescriptions, Linda, it's tough. You have 5 kids.
Amen. It is.
You know.
I got it wrong once, and now I'm self-conscious every time.
Oh, I had to try 3 times recently.
Oh.
What's the birthday? I had 2 kids that dared to be born the same week of the year.
Oh, good grief.
Oh.
One's March 7th, one March 9th. I don't know. It's one of them.
It was my Judah. It was my Judah, and I got it wrong once, and now every time I get there's real anxiety.